Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. We have a question that came into customer service and it's titled Vertical Swing, and it says, using the vertical swing in your putting videos, I have improved my score by 10 strokes in 14 months. My goal is to reduce my score by another 6 strokes in the next 10 months or sooner. That's a really good goal, and hopefully you're going to attain it, and I don't see any reason why, and see if we can help you by answering your question. I have taken a personal lesson from you, and this question comes in from George. And he says, he's taken personal lessons from you, meaning me, purchased several video lessons, and watched many of your daily lessons, but I never have read, heard, or seen any direction on where the butt of the club should be at the top of the forward swing. I think he's probably meaning at the top of the backswing where the forward swing starts, because the forward swing is from the top going to impact, or what other people call the upswing versus the backswing. Okay, I asked this question because I cannot see or feel where the club head is at the top of the backswing, but I can easily feel and see the butt of the club. I have been experimenting on the range and found that when I start the butt of the club down away from my toes on the upswing, I am able to hit a draw which I have never been able to do before. Is there any tips that you can give me and others on using the position of the butt of the club as a reference point to make the 3/4 vertical swing correctly? Again, from George. All right, George. Yes, there is. Okay. And it's something that I look at a lot when I'm doing video analysis of students. All right. Now, the butt of the club, in case anybody doesn't really know what we're talking about here, that's the butt of the club. All right. The end of the club. They call that the butt of the club. Okay. So that's what George is referring to. When we stand here and we start to make the swing, and we turn and we start our backswing where we take the club into the catcher's mitt and up the tree. All right. And let me put an iron on the ground here so that you can have a reference to my toe line. When we take the club into the catcher's mitt, which is right here, just about dead behind the ball, or just slightly an inch or so inside of it, we start to turn, taking the club back, lifting with both hands and arms into the catcher's mitt, toe up, and then we keep turning to the toe line. Once the shaft and the forward arm are over the toe line, left arm for a right-handed golfer, are over the toe line, there's no more turn. It's all lift. All right? Now, I dispelled this before, but I'm going to say it again. I'm over the toe line. And when I lift up, remember, we are swinging on a diagonal inclined plane. We're swinging the club vertical on a diagonal plane, right? Because we're bent over. We can't really swing straight up like this and hit a golf ball. We can swing our arms straight up and down when we're vertical, but that still can't happen that way to hit a golf ball. So once I'm at the top of the backswing, the diagonal plane will bring about my elbows to my hand and the shaft and the club head inside the toe line. But the key that determines whether you're deep in the sacred burial ground are not those aspects, because we've always defined the sacred burial ground is everything behind the toe line on both sides of us. And we say you could stand in it, but you can't swing in it. All right? The determining factor of whether you're deep and in the sacred burial ground or not is the position of your elbow to your shoulder. All right? So on an inclined plane, as I said, the elbow to the hands and the club will be inside. The key is that we want the club to still be vertical. All right? Which is very close to 12 o'clock, which makes it light. Over here, where most people play today and are taught, it's heavy, it falls behind you. So look where the head is in that position relative to the toe line, and look where it is here. It is just about the same distance at the top exactly as the hands are, which is only a few inches inside the toe line. But the elbow to the shoulder is over the toe line. Another good way to look at, is this way. If I do it here and I come back this way, you can see this part of my arm from the elbow to here is over the toe line. But even with a vertical golf club, the elbow to the hands and the shaft are up there, okay? So, one of the things I've checked at golf swings, and I can determine exactly where you are and if you are deep, is if I take a down the line view, which is what this camera is taking right now, I take a glue and I get up here, I draw a line from the butt of the club to the ground. If I have equipment that can do it, if not, I just get a ruler and I draw a line down, okay? And where do I want to see that line? It should be just about at the ankle. So that might be, that few inches really might be about 6 to 8 inches, okay? But the elbow to the shoulder is over the line, is still on the toe line. And I'm going to say this again, anytime I'm talking about toe line, as it refers to proper setup and proper alignment, we're talking toes, knees, hips, shoulders, and eyes are all together over that, parallel to that, would be our aiming line over there when the toe line's parallel. Not shoulders out too far, or, you know, closed, or shoulders open like this. Everything has to be straight up and down. Don't want the head cocked one way or the other. Even though I turn my head and the nose is at the ball, it's not cocked with the eyes pointing out there or the eyes pointing here. There still will be up and down that parallel line. Okay? So, I look and I draw a line here. If this line is too close to the toe line, you're actually your swing is actually too vertical and slightly outside. If it starts getting anywhere from the ankle is good, just about perfect. We can take shoelaces, top of the shoelaces, center of the shoelaces, not bad. Top of the shoelaces, pretty good. Ankle, very good. Now, considering that we have our weight in our arches, not with our weight on the heels, right? Because then your feet would be in, your hips would be too far out. Another way is you can check. You can start to know if you want to start correctly. If you're in good posture with your weight in your arches, athletically ready, put a club at your hip like this, at your ankle, and it should be just about at the center of your hip, the seam where your slacks are. If you're on your heels too often, which is what I see a lot of times, and you drop that club here, you check that club like that, and see it's way behind my heels. Rotational has to have that, because when I get the club deep, the feet under balances them out, counterbalances them. If you want to swing vertical, you have to be in your arches, that ready position to swing up, because if you're on your heels and you try to lift and you try to go vertical, you're going to fall down. So that's the major reason why golfers can't seem to go vertical a lot. Okay? And that's one of the first things I teach all instructors who want to come and get certified, is that since 99% of the world is somewhat in the rotational category, their feet are under them too much, we can't take them vertical successfully until we get them in a ready position. The setup determines the motion, to be able to have the weight in the arches to lift the club straight up. So yes, when you get up here, you want that club, if you draw a line, straight down, and the club should be pointing down. All right? Relatively, as it comes down, it should pretty much be running your toe line. Okay? In golf, they want you here, and they want you at the top. Many even talk about pointing a line at the ball. The butt of the club should point at the ball or above it. Well, the more you get, as your club starts to point from the shaft, the toe line, and starts going towards the ball and beyond it, look what the club's doing. It's going way flat. Flat is heavy. Heavy's going to come down too heavy, and then at the last second you got to flip it. So yes, what happened is when you started your transition, and this club went a little outside the toe line towards the ball, that's the secondary spine angle tilt caused that. Now the job for you have to do is to not let that club fall too far. You want to try to keep it as vertical as you can. In my mind, I know the club goes down a little bit, but in my mind, when I transition, I want to feel like my club comes straight back, straight up, straight down, straight out, and straight up. I'm running my club right over my toe line. And at those points where the club's in a position where the butt of the club is towards the ground, it's basically at my toe line. Not at the ball, and certainly not above the ball, and anywhere in between. But it will lay off a little bit when you make the transition in the forward upswing with the bump. That causes the spine to go back. That helps pull the club down, but the club gets hands and club down, but the club goes this way. But you have to stop and fight it so that it'll just square up the impact. So I hope this answers your question. Our butt runs the toe line, not at the ball or above. And so if you look up here and you can feel and you see that toe line and you see that butt straight up and down at the toe line, you know you're vertical. And one of the things I've always felt is people say, well, I really can't feel the club in this swing, because they've always said you should be able to feel the club. Well, I think when you tell me that you can't feel the club, I think you're doing a pretty good job at doing a peak performance golf swing. Because why? What's easier to feel? A light club or a heavy club? The heavy club. You can really feel that weight because it's going heavy, and you got to work harder to not let it fall back. Here, when it's light, it's hard to feel. So I think that if you got trouble feeling the club, that means the club has to be pretty light, which means you have to be quite vertical, and there's your ultimate check. The club should come down Draw a line down, no farther back than the ankle. Heel the absolute most. As you go a little bit towards the heel, if you get a little bit towards the heel, and that's the end of the parameter of inside, of being slightly inside the toe line. But as you go there, you're coming down flat here, a little bit more from the butt of the club aiming there towards the ball. That means there'll be a little bit more rotation and impact, and as you rotate more into impact, that's giving you more, the club face is squaring up quicker and more, and there's your draw. All right? So hopefully this clears everything out of what the toe line is and where the hands, what part of the arm is over the toe line, and from the elbow to the hands is slightly inside, but vertical. Okay? So hopefully that clears everything up and will help all of you make sure that you know you are vertical, and the light club tells you that you're vertical, and that'll help you start hitting it more solid straight and shooting those lower scores. That's it from the Surge for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.